Chaitanya Okay. So far we have heard about what is needed in bhakti, right? Those three things. The faith, the enthusiasm, satovritti, association of the devotees. With the association of the saintly devotees, the faith, enthusiasm, and shastriya shraddha, all of them, they come. And with the association of devotees, with the knowledge they give us about Krishna and about how to perform bhakti, then Namaruchi, Jivadaya, and Vaishnava Seva, they happen. So the portal of entry is that satovritti, association of saintly devotees, hearing from them. That's why Bhagavatam says, right? Susrusho Shraddhadhanasya Vasudeva Kadaruchi Shanmahat Sevaya Vipraha Punyatirtha Nishevnat. So everything starts from hearing from the realized souls about Krishna and about bhakti and how to do bhakti and what bhakti has to offer. That we have discussed. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said he would be explaining about three things. One is Sambandha. What is our relationship to the source of us? That is the soul and super soul. That's Bhagavan. So that is Sambandha. And Abhideya, how to revive that relationship, divine relationship, by the process of bhakti, is Abhideya. Prayojana is love of Godhead, loving devotional service. Why to revive that relationship? So we can constantly reciprocate with him in love, like Vrajavasis. That is Prayojana. Those three things will be explained in these 8 verses of Sikshashtakam. That's what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said. And after that, we have discussed about Shakti and Shaktiman. Shaktiman is Lord Krishna, and he has Shaktis. Based on the functioning of the Shakti, it is divided into internal potency or Bhakti Shakti, marginal potency or Jiva Shakti, and external potency or Maya Shakti. Bhakti Shakti keeps Jiva Shakti happy in service to Krishna. Maya Shakti keeps the Jiva Shakti away from Krishna with miseries. So Jiva Shakti has Jiva Shakti, that is all of us, the individual souls. We have Ichcha. Ichcha is independent will, free will. So with this free will, we can choose to be in Bhakti Shakti, to be eternally happy in the association of Lord Krishna in service, or we can choose to be in Maya Shakti, turning away from Krishna, being in the material world with miseries. So free will is ours, and then Lord Krishna will place us accordingly, depending upon our desire. So those were discussed so far. And now Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to talk about what happens when Jiva Shakti is in Bhakti Shakti, that is liberated. And if Jiva Shakti is in Maya Shakti, that is a conditional state. Right? So we'll hear about those 2 conditions of the Jiva, liberated and conditioned. So please go ahead.
The liberated and conditioned states. In each of their own ways, therefore, Maya, the material energy, the living entities, the marginal spiritual energy, and Vaikuntha, transcendence, are different and non-different from the Supreme Lord. Mataji, should I read the next para also?
Yeah, yes, please. Yeah.
As long as the Jiva takes full shelter of the Supreme Lord, he remains a resident of Vaikuntha. But when his innate spiritual knowledge of the Lord is covered by forgetfulness, he is placed outside the transcendental realm. The jiva is compared to a ray of the sun, and when under the cloud of Maya, he becomes conditioned to an unconstitutional and hence unnatural type of existence. The jiva was created to support and participate in the Supreme Lord's transcendental pastimes. But due to his marginal nature, he can fall under Maya's spell to suffer the pangs of repeated birth and death. If, however, the jiva awakens to his original self, the dark mists of ignorance are dissipated, and the long suffering of repeated birth and death at last comes to an end. Then he regains his true spiritual identity.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. This way we have discussed so far, right? We already discussed that jiva has free will, and if he awakens to the original self, then he will be in the devotional energy, happy. But if he is forgetful of who he is, a part and parcel of Krishna, then he will be in Maya energy, morose, sorrowful. That's about that paragraph. And yes, somebody please go ahead.
When the jiva meets a saintly person, he gradually acquires an eager taste for knowledge of scripture and attraction to the Supreme Lord himself. When situated in his original constitutional position, the awakened soul is eligible to enter into a conjugal loving exchange with the Lord. One gets the chance to associate with real saintly persons and take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master by sincerity and faith. Only in this way can he hear the true import of the revealed scriptures. After submissively hearing, one can chant the holy name, and gradually the real self, the re-spiritualized jiva, overcomes the illusory energy as his original nature becomes prominent. Such is the sublime effect of chanting the Lord's holy name. Chanting alone cleanses the heart, Cheto Darpana Marjana, and eventually brings out 7 types of perfections in the spiritual soul. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Yeah. So, as we just stated, everything starts with submissively hearing from a realized soul. These two are important components. Hearing submissively, in the sense that one is eager to, looking forward to get the information and clarify any questions so they can start applying. That is submissiveness. And that kind of hearing from a realized soul who is already realized. And only after such kind of hearing, one can chant the holy name. Without hearing, yes, one may chant the holy name, but they may get full benefit of the holy name when they actually know who that holy name is and what are the glories of holy name, how to chant the holy name, what are the benefits of chanting the holy name. So like that, the glories of the holy name. Holy name is Krishna. So when we know more about the chanting, then we will be able to chant better. And knowing more about chanting from a realized person can make a difference in our chanting. And gradually, he will be able to overcome the push and pull of the moods and come to a very steady state where he may be able to practice bhakti steadily and then gradually take off from there with least resistance. Yeah, and so Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that chanting alone cleanses the heart. Why like that? Because Harinam is none other than Krishna. Krishna is omnipotent. He's so powerful. Like for sun, just the sunshine itself can cleanse, oceans of dirty water, not just the little pools of dirty water. Because sun rays are so powerful if they are exposed. Just with that, disinfection can happen. The muddy waters can be disinfected because the potency of sun is like that. In the same way, Harinam is so potent that it can pick us up from deep state of ignorance, past the goodness, keep us on transcendence. Yeah, that's what happened when Srila Prabhupada came in here. The hippies, in the deepest mode of ignorance. All Srila Prabhupada did was go to the Tompkins Square Park and just chant Hare Krishna there. But that chanting of the realized soul, the Vani of the realized soul, is Shabda Brahman, as we discussed yesterday. Because they're always with Krishna, whatever they say and they do carries Krishna. And since Krishna is all powerful, he can bring changes in the hearts of the people. That is Shuddhanam, by realized souls. So such a Shuddhanam can quickly bring the people in deep modes of ignorance. They can be quickly uplifted to the higher modes and to the transcendence. So in that way, chanting alone can uplift us. But when we know who that Harinam is and how powerful the Harinam is, then the changes can be even more quicker. Yep. Yes, please. Somebody else. The phrase.
The phrase Cheto Darpana Marjanam indicates the original transcendental nature of the living entity. Srila
Jiva Goswami explains that the living entity is a part and parcel of the Supreme Absolute Energetic Truth. He is the aggregate of all jivas. Like rays of the sun, the jivas are of the same spiritual nature as the Supreme, but they are infinitesimal in size. Are you back, Prabhu?
Yeah, Mataji, looks like I have internet issue, Mataji.
Okay, I'll go ahead and read that. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushana has similarly analyzed Godhead as the infinite Supreme Lord, with the jiva being his infinitesimal part. All transcendental qualities are eternally present in perfect fullness in the Supreme Lord. His pure ego is manifest as both absolute knowledge and knower. The jiva is also in possession of transcendental knowledge and pure ego, but to a partial degree. By logic, qualities of sun like heat and light present must also be present in the sun's rays. So here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is trying to say that we, the jivas, spirit souls, we do have spiritual qualities. We do have spiritual qualities, but they are covered. And this is what he's explaining. Of the two, then it is the Supreme Godhead who is fully independent. He possesses and embodies all transcendental qualities. Harinam, embodies all transcendental qualities. He is the origin of everything. Harinam, Krishna, is the origin of everything. And he enters into material nature and as its controller. He alone creates and maintains the material world. As the reservoir of all spiritual bliss, he relishes his own spiritual self and distributes the nectar of pure love of Godhead by the means of his pure devotional service. Indeed, he forces all living entities to taste the sweet nectar. This is beautiful. See, he's not just giving a little drop here and there, and we are missing the opportunity to take the nectar. He forces all living entities to taste the sweet nectar. How merciful is that? It's like a mother who is forcing the little one to really taste the yummy snack that she has cooked. Since the Harinam Gauranga Mahaprabhu, in this paragraph, Srila Bhaktivinoda is actually talking about Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Here, Lord Krishna, how powerful he is, how he is the source of everything is described. And in the next sentence, as a reservoir of all spiritual bliss, and he's distributing the nectar of pure love of Godhead. That's Gauranga. So the Harinam that is given to us is by Gauranga. If Lord Krishna has to come down and taste his own devotional service, that's Gauranga. So this Harinam brought by Gauranga is full of nectar of love of Godhead. And he's forcing all living entities to taste the sweet nectar. Isn't that a matter of big hope for us? We are chanting every day. So we have a big hope. We are not offering so much of resistance. So we will be given this nectar too. So here, Lord Krishna and Gauranga, how powerful he is and how he is bringing that Golokera Premadhana, Harinama, Sankirtana, how he is bringing that holy name from Raja is being explained. So that's about the position of Krishna or Gauranga. Then what is the position of us? Can somebody read this?
Innumerable living entities move through varied stages of existence. Some become eternally conditioned, some become eternally liberated. When the Jiva rejects the Supreme Lord, he is eternally ensnared by matter. But if he again aspires for the shelter of the Lord, the curtain of Maya that separates the Jiva from his own transcendental identity and qualities is forever removed. He is and immediately restored to his original pure self. Cleansing the mirror of the mind reveals 5 truths. Shall I continue?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, let's see what those 5 truths are. So when Jiva aspires for the shelter of the Lord, the curtain of Maya is removed, and then these 5 truths are revealed. Yes, please go ahead.
Therefore, it is clear that the Jiva is infinitesimal. Though he is of a transcendental nature, having pure ego, pure consciousness of pure form, if he turns away from God and contemplates material energy, his pure nature becomes contaminated by nescience. In this way, the soul's consciousness is like a mirror. Just as it is impossible to see one's face in a dusty mirror, it is similarly impossible to see the real self in the mirror of consciousness when it is covered by the dust of ignorance. But if one begins to render loving devotional service, particularly hearing and chanting the holy names of pastimes of Sri Krishna, under the influence of the Lord's Hladini pleasure potency, the material contamination of nescience is completely eradicated. Shall I?
Yeah. Yes, Mataji.
Then Jiva's pure consciousness, which is a function of his pure ego, manifests itself. He sees reflected on the mirror of his pure ego the 5 principles of the Supreme Lord: the Jiva, Prakriti, nature; Kala, time; and Karma, action, with absolute clarity. He sees the reflection of his original identity without any distortion, and this helps him to know his inherent nature as an eternal servant of the Lord. When one becomes truly expert in serving the Lord, the propensity to enjoy material life is converted into a loving devotional mode of service. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. So, isn't that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful? So, it is in Jiva's hands. If one begins to render loving devotional service, after hearing from a realized soul, one starts rendering loving devotional service, which is specifically, particularly, the hearing and chanting. Basically, knowing about Krishna and calling out Krishna. Chanting is calling out Krishna to engage in devotional service, and hearing Krishna Katha is knowing about Krishna so we can think of Krishna. Basically, we're Krishnizing ourselves, Krishnizing the mind, thinking of Krishna, Krishnizing the body in service of Krishna. Yeah. So that is loving devotional service. And one obtains satisfaction and happiness in that. And that is because of the Ladini Shakti of Lord Krishna. Within the internal potency, there are three energies. One is Sandhini Shakti, is that energy that arranges for the devotional service. Then Samvit Shakti, that energy that gives an understanding of Krishna and devotional energy. And third one is Ahladini Shakti, that energy that gives bliss, happiness in devotional service. So one is energy that is arranging for the service. Second one is energy that is giving understanding of Krishna and Bhakti. Third one is the energy that is giving happiness, bliss in service. These three are different energies within the internal potency of Krishna. Because of these energies, the devotee wants to do more and more devotional service. He gets pleasure out of it and then progresses in Bhakti. And in the last paragraph, this is also given in Srimad Bhagavatam. When Narada Muni instructs Vyasadeva to go into meditation so he can write the glories of Lord Krishna, then this is what he realizes. Yaya sammohito jiva atmanam trigunatmakam. In his meditation, he sees Bhagavan, Jiva, and Prakriti, and how the Jiva is entangled with the Prakriti, and how devotional service can detangle him from the Prakriti. That is what he saw in his meditation, Vyasadeva. And if one takes up chanting, and if one's dirt is being washed away, in other words, when the modes are being washed away, they also will be able to see how we are easily controlled by the modes, while we are actually spiritual souls, part and parcel of Krishna, that are meant for his loving reciprocation. This fact is realized as one chants the holy name. So whatever were words before will be realized when we chant, as the chanting and bhakti progresses. Okay. So those are the points that we have discussed today. Any questions or reflections before we pause?
Mataji.
Yeah.
Yes. Sandhini, Samvit and Hladini Shakti.
Yeah.
They represent like Sandhini is Baldev.
Right, Balaram. Yeah.
Balram. Hladini is Radharani.
Yes.
Right, Mataji?
Right. Yeah.
Samvit is Krishna himself.
Yeah. Krishna himself, and sometimes it is said as Divya Saraswati also, because it's related to the knowledge and cognizance, right? Yeah.
Mataji, while you are explaining, I got confused, Mataji. Sandhini is okay. I'm confused about Hladini and Samvit.
Okay. Ahladini is Radha Devi,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
Sandini, at some places we read that as Krishna himself, as Sandini Shakti. But in some places it is said that, Divya Saraswati, not the Saraswati of the material world, but Divya Saraswati is the presiding deity of Samvit. Samvit is knowledge, cognizance. Saraswati is meant for knowledge, right? Like that. So have heard both of them, Mataji. Krishna or Divya Saraswati. That's for Samvit.
Okay.
Yeah. But the pleasure potency is Ahladini, Radharani.
Yeah, Mataji, one more thing. While you're explaining, Sandini is who shows the path, right, Mataji, for devotional service?
Yeah,
or
who
something?
shows the path, who gives us the strength, who makes the arrangements for devotional service, everything. That's Balaram, Nityanandaram. That's the Guru Tattva. Yeah.
So can you explain one more time about Samvit and Hladini also like that, Mataji?
Sure. Okay. So Sandini is who gives, who shows us the path, who gives us the strength, who connects us to Krishna, and who arranges for the service is all Sandhini, Balaram, Nityanandaram. Samvit is the knowledge or cognizance. See, when we are hearing about the scriptures, reading about scriptures, so the understanding of this scriptures and instructions, that understanding part and the realizations is by Samvit Shakti.
Okay.
Yeah. See, for example, as we just discussed, when we chant, as we progress in chanting, then one would realize how we are Jiva and Lord Krishna is Bhagavan. We are part and parcel of Krishna. And then we get entangled in karma, but we can get detangled by devotional service. So that kind of understanding and realization that comes in bhakti is because of Samvit.
Okay.
Yeah. And the happiness that we experience, the deep satisfaction that we experience when we're doing bhakti or devotional service is because of Ahladini Shakti. Srimati Radharani.
Mataji, the progress in bhakti, it is because of the blessings of Radharani, right, Mataji?
It's all together, three of them, all the three Shaktis.
Okay. Okay.
All the three Shaktis.
Okay.
Yeah. Guru is a combination of both Balaram and Srimati Radharani Mataji.
Okay.
Yeah. So all the three Shaktis combined in Guru.
Okay. I heard somewhere like a few words about like this Mataji, about Hladini Shakti. So I'm not sure.
In the beginning, the Balaram or Nityananda Tattva of Guru is predominant. But after the stages of Nishta and Ruchi, then it's more of, when it becomes more of Raganuga Bhakti, then Ahladini Shakti, Radharani portion of Guru will be predominant, like that.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah. But Guru is a combination of both, yes. Yes.
And Mataji, all these three Shaktis are the internal energy of the Lord, right?
Right. Yeah. And that's why Guru is called Shri Guru. Shri means that internal potency. And internal potency is all these three together. Samvit, Sandini, and Ahladini. And that's why Guru has all these three potencies, because he came from the internal potency and he is giving that to us. That's why Shri Guru.
Okay. That's why our prayers is to be in this internal energy.
Yes.
In the starting stage, it could be the Sandhini and Samvit, and then as you said, later on, it is more of a Ahladini Shakti.
In the starting stage, also droplets of Ahladini are there, Mataji. Every now and then we get a little droplet.
Mhm.
That little happiness, that little bliss.
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Yeah, that is there throughout all these three Shaktis. And we have some understanding of Bhakti process now. We
Mhm.
have a little bit of whatever realizations we have had so far,
Mhm.
right? And we
Yeah.
were able to do some kind of service so far. We have maybe at least a little bit of strength to do some devotional service. Otherwise, how can we chant every day 2 hours?
Yes.
Even though it's not the best quality around, but still there is some strength,
Mm.
right?
Yes,
So
Mataji.
all of those are there, and they just grow as we progress in Bhakti
Mhm.
with our persistent, enthusiastic efforts, with faith in the process and in Lord Krishna, the scriptures, then
Mhm.
all these energies will grow. Effect of these energies will grow.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. So that's our discussion today about those three potencies. All right. Shall we pause here?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you all so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो